Won't he do it? Yes, he will. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Dr. Will Rogers, a.k.a. Master Teacher 33. Today is Thursday, I think. Let me double check. Yep, Thursday, August the 4th, 2022, and the time, 8:10. We're up to 8:10 Central. As always, my brothers, as always, my beautiful educated sisters, I've got a powerful message for you today. Today, we want to jump in and break down stop giving, start being. You know, when I really got into the being solution, I talk about my buddy, Darryl Rutherford, who exposed me, taught me the being solution. Can't take credit for this one. This is something that, thankfully was given to me by the good G. Because at that time I was frustrated. I was working 2 jobs, and I had a business where I was cleaning churches. I had 5 churches, I tell you guys, that I was doing. So I was busy, but I wasn't effective. And I was trying everything just like you guys are doing, and, you know, we could blame it on the economy. We could talk about education. We could talk about a lot of reasons why I wasn't vibrating on a high level. At the end of the day, the reason I wasn't vibrating on a high level is because I was giving everything, but I wasn't being anything. And when I talk to people in my one-on-ones and dealing with family members and friends, they always talk about what they give and what they do. But they very seldomly talk about who or what they be. Tonight's message is extremely important when we talk about, you know, moving to or in the direction of August the 15th, which is we need to get all of the basics out of the way so when we jump into the message on the 15th, we can really just deal with the quantum mechanics behind everything that we've been talking about the last month. So over the last month, every day we're talking about nothing but breaking down the neuroscience of the metaphysics of establishing a unified state. That's all we're talking about. So religion is an effect. It's not a cause. Let me say it again. Religion is an effect. It's not a cause. One more time. Religion, all religions, not just always be, you know, jumping on Christianity because that's where I came from, but all religions are an effect. They're not the cause of the effect. So God's omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent, omnisimplistic, and omnibenevolentness is the center of all consciousness. And everyone, to the degree that they understand God's omnipotentness, that determines their being state. Now, we talk about the seat of the electrical magnetic sensation that makes up you and I. We call that a body. The body is nothing but an electrical magnetic sensation that is dumbed down to the point that it is visible. And each and every person on this call, you are that electrical magnetic dumbed down sensation that we call a body. And so your job is to understand that the most important thing is how do we be this ceaseless, untiring, unwavering, awakened state where every desire that you can think that does not violate the law of universal spiritual law of omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent, omnibenevolent, and omnisimple. So I can't go out and find those little boys because that's not omnibenevolent. So the key is to understand that this unified state, this unified field of consciousness, this is the silent voice behind every frequency, wave, or vibration. So we give people money instead of being money. We give the fruit of the Spirit instead of being the fruit of the Spirit. So the difference between being and giving is that you could give from a state, but you don't know that you are the state. So you cannot give what you don't have. So to him that has, more shall be given. So we got to go back to the have state. We have, but we don't recognize that we have. So everybody that I talk to, not everybody, but a lot of people I talk to, they're in a state of ignorance. They're ignorant to their own grandizement. They're ignorant to their own power. They're ignorant to their own synchronicity because of the symbolism that has stolen their frequency. So we are all the result of, or we all contain, or we all subject to stolen frequency. So who stole your frequency? Well, I call it the dominant culture. But it's just what some people call religion. So religion has stolen your frequency. That is simply, there is an electrical magnetic frequency that is you. We all have this electrical magnetic frequency that makes us us. But unfortunately, it's not unified, which is what we're going to be breaking down on August the 15th. Cost, again, is $249. Right after that, we'll be doing on September the 1st. I just posted that on Facebook. We're going to be breaking down, what I talked about today at 12 noon, which is what I wasn't going to do. But the Big G says we need to do it again. So we're going to be breaking down, once again, how to win, how to set up your life so that way you are living again in the overflow state. The state of overflow is what we call credit. Credit is nothing but access. So debt, you want to be in debt and you want to be in credit. Now I know Dave Ramsey and your preacher and all y'all Christians, y'all got some other whack shit, but it's okay. We all used to have whack shit before we come into the knowledge. Me too. So if you understand the twin opposing vortices, electricity is the only force that is applied to God because it is El, it is Elohim. We'll be breaking down the 4 letters in your name, or the 4 letters of the DNA, which represents, again, the 4 letters, because the 5th letter is missing, but it's coming back. It's Yah, He, Shin, Vah, He. So the DNA is ACGT. The missing ingredient is P, of phosphorus. That is the unified state where electricity and magnetism becomes what we call God, or a force. Just like in Star Trek, in Star Wars, may the force be with you. They're talking about God makes use of electricity and magnetism to create what we call the universe. So these two opposing pairs, supposedly, electricity and magnetism, mother, father, gives birth to son. So it's all in nature. Nobody nowhere can avoid or go without being exposed to the mother and the father and the son. So these two pairs of opposing electrical spiral vortices is the basic units that construct all mass and matter, electricity and magnetism, up and down, left and right, fat, sad, fat, skinny, happy, sad, rich, poor. These are opposing vortexes of mass. So the basic unit is understanding that DNA swirls in the same way. The Hebrew letters of the DNA are broken down into a numerical form. And it's repeated over and over again inside of the body. And that produces what we call obstacles. It's called pressure. So the waves of motion create various pressure points, or what you call problems. These conditions, these pressure points, are needed to produce what we call money, mass, or matter. So you want a certain amount of pressure points. That's how you produce. So you got to be the solution to the pressure points that's produced by these opposing forces that create mass and matter. You would not exist if there wasn't something called turbulence. It is the divine, two vines, that creates 3D reality. Without these two opposing forces coming together, there would be no materialism. Matter is nothing but synchronicity. And once you wrap your brain around now, you stop opposing your blessing. You stop fighting God when he's trying to bless you, because you're trying to get out of obstacles, not knowing that the obstacles are the problems containing your profit, your money, because you are and you have the capacity to be, but we give what we should be. So from today forward, you should stop giving and start being. So don't give money, be money. How do you be money? So why do we get money? Can anybody explain to me what's the purpose of money? Well, I don't know where y'all from, but where I'm from, you need money to be what's called self-source or oneness with light. That simply means that money allows you to purchase things that you need. So what if you could be the things that people purchase with money? Then people would not need money. So when you show up, you should be the thing that people need that they purchase with money. And if you did that, then everything that you're going through would cease. Why would it cease? Well, it would cease to exist because you would be the medium of exchange, right? Since the shoal of the West, you would be the medium of exchange. So therefore, I would need a medium of exchange. So if you be the medium of exchange instead of give the medium of exchange, what if instead of giving somebody love, you would be love? Well, then you got to ask the question, what is love? Well, we got a whole chapter in the Bible called the love chapter. 1 Corinthians chapter 13 says love is patient, love is kind, love is gentle, love does not seek its own. It does not glory in, it does not celebrate bad. It only glories in well-doing. It says faith, hope, and love, the greatest of these things is love. Then it says love never fails. What if you could be that instead of giving that? So instead of you giving me love, what if you exude love? What if, I'm asking for a friend. What if you could be love? What if you could be joy? What if you could be gentleness, meekness, self-control? Okay, according to the Bible, then you would be above the law. So when I wake up in the morning, that's what I exude, because I understand that I'm a vortex. I am a vortices, but I don't have no opposition because I'm above. And and that's what Jesus said. Jesus says, "You said if a man sleeps, I said if he thinks." Jesus elevates the law, so Jesus was above the law. So when you become one, which is the whole purpose of tonight's class is to prepare you for August the 15th. Because August the 15th, then we go into all of the physics above everything that you do. So what we're talking about is the most dangerous thing on earth. Why? Because with this knowledge, this is why they don't teach it to the Goyim. Like, this is illegal to teach, especially the black people. Because we're called pigs. Just go ask an Orthodox Jew, what is Goyim? Remember the Bruce Lee story? He had to go before the council because he was teaching martial arts to the Quilo. Youth Quilo. So you can't know this according to the ancient text. Or the people who now have the ancient text. Let me rephrase that. So Quilo, Goyams, Nichols, melanated people, you can't be exposed to this teaching because it activates your carbon or your melanin. That's why they grind up your pineal glands when you die and eat it in their food. That's why melanin is more expensive than gold, because you don't know that you are omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent, omnisimplistic, and omnibenevolent. Because if you did, then you would know that you can't give money, you are money. You can't give help, you are help. You can't give wisdom, you are wisdom. You can't give relationship advice, you are relationship advice. The moment that you become the center of consciousness, then you know oneness of your self-source soul. You have a self, you have that's connected to source that controls your soul. So this is the unified field of physics that I will be breaking down using physics. So you can understand that this world that we live in, what they gave you, all teachings are effect. There is no teaching of cause. So the only thing I did was I prayed, if you want to use that term, for cause on January the 1st of 2009 when I was ready to commit suicide for like the 8th time. Because I was tired of living in a world where everybody else is in. Because I was tired of getting to a point and then meeting an obstacle and I couldn't solve it. So I was like, okay, how do I solve all problems? Source says, well, be all solutions. Well, only God. And that's when it dropped in my spirit, nigga, you are God. And that's from that day to this day, I've been flying solo. Because nobody can, or let me phrase that, very few people can wrap their brain around their God or their goddessness. Why? Because we give. We're all givers, especially if you're 6. The biggest con job, what, 6s are the hardest people to get this concept. Why? Because you are a nurturer by design. So you are a servant by design. You carry, you exude peasant. You smell like a peasant. I smell like a peasant until I put on my priestly robe. Then I become a royal priest, a holy nation, a joint heir. So I go from being a sinner to a saint. But then you got people like Creflo Dollar that constantly remind you that you're a sinner. And then you take off your saint and you become an ain't because of all the teachings. So I can tell by it's like the Matrix. It's a smell. It's a stench. It's a funky, stinky, nasty odor that is exuded. Because servants, it's almost like somebody that's urinated on themselves. Smell like piss. I mean, not you personally, of course, but people you know. What is that? That's that feeling of, that's that smell of you groveling, eating the crumbs off of somebody else's table, pleading, begging, crying, praying at night. Oh God, help me. And your prayers are never answered. And I like talking to Christians who believe their prayers are answered. It's the same thing when you deal with the satanic realm and you see that a higher ranking demon always has lower ranking demons as his bitch. He pays them though, but they still his bitch. That's Christianity. You gotta be, because you can't be the top dog. You can't run it. So you gotta have TD Jakes. There's a high, you gotta go to the pastor. You gotta have a covering. You gotta kiss my ring finger. You gotta carry my luggage. You can't have your own luggage. You can't have your own platform. You can't do your own seminar. You can't write your own books. Now you can promote my stuff, but you can't have your own. This is why I encourage everybody to develop their own shit. And everybody fights to it is hard. It is the most hardest thing that I've been doing for 20 years is just trying to get you to be you. Nobody wants to be themselves because they're afraid. Why? Because if you be yourself, you got to be God. Because you can't blame nobody. If shit goes wrong in my life, who I'm going to blame? Ghostbusters? I ain't got nobody to blame but me. It's a lonely job, brothers and sisters. It's lonely at the top. But guess what? The air is pristine up here because ain't nobody up here. It's very lonely at the top. But it's a good lonely. Why? Because when you get to the top, you can see the view. It's like an eagle's view. So you can see the field. So now you can see what everybody else is giving. And it's now so clear because then you see the field and everything slows down. Because electricity and magnetism, but specifically electricity, because electricity is the spark, magnetism is what draws. So electricity is like the father, magnetism is like the mother. So the only force, if you want to use that term, that makes the universe exist is the combination of electricity and magnetism. These two together creates a spiral that's called your DNA. So your DNA is controlled by numbers. Now, the DNA has a specific tone. I'll be breaking this down on August the 15th. And it just repeats. It's 5, 6, 5, 10. That is the numerical of ACGT. But remember the S or the P is missing. So your DNA repeats that tone throughout. Now you can ask any medical doctor. But the only difference is everybody's pitch is different. That's what you control, your tone. Because remember, the tone in your voice determines the speed of your choice. So when I want to speed up something, I change my tone. When I want to slow it down, I change my tone. So we're going to be breaking that down again on August the 15th so that way you can learn the step-by-step process of speeding up and slowing down your tone. Because the number one unanswered question on the planet, if you think about it, is cause. We live in a complex world of effects. And very few people know what causes that effect. There are multiple complex examples or explanations of what causes the earth to rotate, if you believe that it's round. What causes the tide to rise and fall? What causes? We got the effect. What causes gravity to exist? So there is an underlying principle. That's the principle of balance in all things. But that doesn't explain what it means. Because what does balance mean? All of these complexities is simply the fact that we have the difficult time understanding something called rhythmic interchange between opposite pairs. That's why relationships don't work. Most. If you could find a relationship that does work, it's because there is a rhythmic, balanced interchange between the male and the female. And the reason why when you find a relationship that does work, it's based upon the fundamental universal principle that lies inside of not only the universe, but in all of the creative expression in God's electrical magnetic wave of two conditioned lights. So they must be conditioned. So if you remember when I said before you go to bed, you must condition the mind. That's why the only way a relationship works is you got two people who are conditioned. That means that both people condition their mind. So that way they are in rhythmic harmony together to shine. Which is, if you've seen, like I said, the closest I've ever seen was Dr. Jerome and Dr. Arlene Span. I say this all the time because that's the honest truth. I have no other example I've ever seen. And I'm not trying to put them on a pedestal. I'm sure that they have issues, and, I don't know, but all I know is that there is a rhythmic. Because Dr. Jones said that he refused to go to bed if there's without him and his wife being upset with each other. They communicate. They put down their pride and their ego, and they refuse to do silent treatment gaslighting, all the shit that everybody, I know no other relationship. Mine, I don't know anybody. I don't know no other relationship on earth. I ain't seen them all, but the ones that I've seen and studied and watched, and remember, I know Dr. Jones and Dr. Orland's fan because I hung out with him, and I took the energy. And so I am still married today. If I hadn't met Dr. Jerome and Dr. Arlene, I'd be divorced already. Because I learned rhythmic balance between two opposing forces. How to allow someone to exist without trying to control every aspect of their being. And they don't have to be all up in your butt and drinking your Kool-Aid every day. It doesn't mean that they don't love you. It just simply means that they may have a different condition that they wish to express. So a conditioned mind is a mind that has the ability to do, number one, remove all negativity, which means what? You know, in relationships, you feel like somebody may be lying, somebody may be cheating. That's negativity. Even if it's true or not, that's not the point. What's the point? The point is the feeling that you have when you exude that. So it has to be addressed. But the way that it's addressed, so like I said, the fans are the closest example that I've seen, and that's why I talk about them all the time. And I know that they've, damn, I forgot how long it's been. I know, how long y'all been rocking and rolling? I want to say like 40 years. They've been together for a long time. It's been a long time. I don't know the exact time. I forgot. But the point is that when you heed the voice within, so the answer to tonight's being state is to heed the voice within. So there is a solid voice within every person on this call. You know it. You know in your gut, you know right from wrong. You know when what you said was wrong and you should apologize, that you don't. You know, a lot of us. If you're 6, it's easy for us to apologize, but we just keep doing the same shit over and over again. So the awakened state is, number one, you silence the voice in your head, that negativity. Number 2, you establish what you want. Number 3, you establish why you want it. So number 3 is the most important. Why? Because number 3, you got a big enough why, then you got a reason to fly. So you got to keep your why, and then you go to sleep. And then when you wake up, bam, the universe will tell you what to do, like I did this morning. So every desire, purpose is written in the heart of every person on this call. And that desire is emitted to source because it came from source. And it's answered by source, meaning it's guaranteed to come because it already exists. So everything that already exists is just in another dimension. But there are few who can comprehend comprehensively the level, the frequency that your solutions exist on. So you give the thing that you want to receive. You know that book, The 5 Love Languages? I never read the book, but I could tell what it's talking about because we give what we wish to receive. So I give a lot of verbal praise or compliments. The reason that I give a lot of verbal praise and compliments to people is because I grew up in an environment with 13 children. So I was kind of in the middle, toward the end. So I was just a little Negro walking around. I was never praised. I was never acknowledged. I always I always acknowledge people. When I go to other people, I shake their hand. I acknowledge that you exist. Because nobody acknowledged my existence. So I give that which I wish to receive. We all do. That's the biggest mistake you can make in a relationship. Because you're supposed to give what the other party wants to receive. And so the best example that I've ever seen of that was Dr. Jerome. The way what he gives to his wife. I'm sure that sometimes he may get tired and hopefully you guys, they don't mind me sharing this, but they have a son who is special, you can say that special needs and what have you. So Dr. Jerome does things that few men would do, that I know, when it comes to the care and the attention that is provided and given to their son. Because he's not like young, he's an older guy. I think he's 30-something. But they still provide round-the-clock care to their son. Why? It's their son. And so I'm sure it's probably inconvenient for him at times, and he may or may not, get tired. We all do, but yet he continues. Why? Well, that's the point. He has a why. So he has a big enough why to continue to fly. So every day he wakes up, whatever the why is big enough to motivate him to continue the dialogue, or in this case, the love. So they don't give love. They, Dr. Jerome, Dr. Arlene Fan, they are being loved. Every time I'm with them, I watch them. Because they watch me. So we be watching each other. And I pick up little things here and there, like I do with everybody that I meet. And everybody on this call. I've learned from everybody on this call. So I've learned not to give that which I want to receive, or in addition to giving that which I want to receive, actually ask myself, what does the other party need? Again, need is the wrong word, but that's the best word that I can use at this point in time. So everybody has come to tonight's message because we all have to stop giving and let us all be. So let's close with the crescendo. That sounds great, Doc. So instead of me giving love, it's like Christmas. Instead of giving a gift, be the gift. Could you imagine, instead of you giving somebody a gift, how they feel? They're happy, they look, oh, I like the gift. And then the gift gets old and it's in the closet. As you give somebody a tie, like Father's Day, kids don't know what to do. I get ties and socks or wallets. So I act happy. Oh, yeah, thank you, because I know it's the thought that counts. I get it. Trust me. But what if, I mean, again, I'm asking for a friend. What if you could be the gift instead of giving the gift? What if you could be a gift to somebody instead of giving them a gift? So I could go shopping and I could buy you a gift and I could mail it to you, you receive it, and you're going to be happy and greedy for one day. But what if every day I asked you? See, we put emphasis on nouns. Source put emphasis on verbs. So if you stop being a person, place, or thing, and start being an action, your whole life will change. Because guess what? Action begets action. If you give that which you wish to receive, or be, you receive that back. So if you are being money, that's how you receive money. Because to him that has more shall be given. So whatever money does, that's what you should do. Well, money does what? Well, the biggest thing that money does, it makes people feel what? Relaxed, at peace, because they got enough money to pay their bills. So when you come around, you should make people feel relaxed and at peace. Why? That's what money does. So what does love do? When people come around, love makes you feel what? How do you feel when you know that you love unconditionally by someone? Like, that's the hardest problem because I didn't get that from my mother. I didn't get it from my father. So I've never received, I don't know what that feels like. I kind of, I wonder, like, in relationships, I've been thinking like, damn, how does that love? But the mother's love is different. I've watched it. And I've watched my first wife. And then when I walked into prison, that's when I knew, damn, I've never been loved from the perspective the way a mother loves a child. Why? It's like watching Dr. Span with her son. Whenever they miss a show or something, I knew just recently there was a hospital with their son. By Dr. Span, and they probably never left their son aside, which is, again, he's an older, but guess what? Still a son. Doesn't matter if he's 80. Still a son. And I saw it in the prison. Mothers have a love for their children that fathers don't even have. And it is what it is. It's not like make-believe. It's not like, oh, snap, damn. It's not like it's fake. Like, mothers have something fathers don't. Now, fathers, we got it too. We got the whole, hey, you got to go through me. Like for real. Like, if somebody was threatening my children or something like that, I'd be in my corner with a dad. Why? Because as a father, I'm a provider, protector. But love, man, mothers, they have another gear, man. I can't explain it. I just like seeing it in action. When you see a mother, and as like when I watch D, I said, damn, Triple Chocolate, are you taking applications for any more children? I tell this all the time. That girl loves her some Alec and Janai. I mean, they like Alec, and I tell her, like, I don't know. I doubt seriously old boy ever leaves. I don't know how you're going to find a woman that does for him what you do. I mean, my boy got it. He just plays video games all day. Got to beg him to take out the trash. And so, like, I don't know how you're going to make, like, a living doing that, playing video games. Unless, they say there's guys make a living playing video games. So, I don't know. Now, maybe be like my son. Because remember, I was the same way when I was a kid. Boys take us a little while to mature and kind of grow up. Dang on. So what does that mean? That just simply means that a mother has the patience to wait for the son to mature and develop. Fathers, we be like, you get your ass out there because, like, the way I raise my sons, the only way that our marriage works is if, I told D, like, he was like, yeah, that's not gonna work. I said, okay. But he still needs, yeah, but not that kind. Like, okay. So we agreed. Because that's the only way the marriage works. Cause I don't tell nobody three times to do nothing. Like, you got one time, nigga, you ain't moving over there, I'm putting my foot in your chest. But, hey, I'm old school. So, what's the point? Exuding love. So, it's not talk. I see it in action every single day. And when I say to myself, damn, what kind of a man would I have been if I would have received that when I was a child? I think I came out pretty good. But, damn, what if you was raised in an environment the way, like we're in $1 million house. Both of them they got cars. I bought them cars before they could even drive. I just bought it, set it aside because I knew one day they were going to need it. we was throwing away. He was throwing away like the movie dude was like, hey man, he was throwing away Air Jordans and throwing away, like tennis shoes and stuff that the stuff that we was throwing away in the trash. The movie guy was like, dog, can I take it? We just throwing it away. And I'm telling my wife, like, that's good, but damn, it's a long fall to the bottom if you can't maintain that affluent. Because I got money. That's like I tell my kids. Shit, I got money. That don't mean you got it. What's the point? The point is we got to teach our children to be the same thing that we are. We can't just give and we never teach them to be. Because then when they leave and go out on their own, they're going to wonder why they're struggling. You didn't teach them nothing. So my job is to model, same thing we're doing, like, we're going to do because depending on what the economy does, everybody needs to understand how to live off of credit and debt so that way you don't need no income. So we're going to do that on September the 1st, after we finish this on August the 15th. That's the next class after this one. Why? Because just in case the shit hits the fan, you got to know how to operate when you don't have no income coming in. You still got to pay your bills. And if you can't pay your bills with no income, then you can listen to Dave Ramsey and T.D. Jakes and, Creflo Dollar just apologize for teaching tithing. Y'all saw that? So depending on who you're listening to, you might be listening to the wrong frequency, wave, or vibration. So what that means? That just simply means everybody on the call tonight, all you got to do is start the process of thinking, of saying, what does it mean to be money instead of give money? What does it mean to be love instead of give love? What does it mean to be the gift? Instead of this Christmas, instead of giving people gifts, you should be their gift. You should show up at their house and say, I am your gift. And if it's somebody that, let's say an elderly person, you say, today I'm going to clean your house. I'm going to do your laundry. Or let's say if your parents, if my parents were still here, I would go over there and I was talking to one client and she was like saying that she was going to go cook fish for her mother. And I thought about that. It's like, damn, to have your daughter show up at your house and just do something nice for you. That's love. So instead of saying, Mama, I love you, you actually show up at your mom's house, surprise, and just, do something for her. That is powerful because you are exuding the frequency, wave, and vibration instead of giving a person, place, or a thing. God is a being. He, she, it, again, is a frequency, wave, or vibration that doesn't give, it bees. So your job and my job is for us to change our disposition and start giving. Now, you got to think about the narrative because we talk about the cause of giving now because it's not taught in the biblical text. The biblical text says give and it shall be given. So you should really, because we are all intelligent, how you going to give something you don't got? So the Bible starts at step 2, not step 1. The Bible and all religion is a book of effect. It's not a book of cause. The Bible, it just says God is, but it doesn't explain how God be. Unless you do what I did and do some research and look up what God is all about. So now you understand that God is a mental disposition. So what that means? Well, now you understand that, okay, now I got to do what? This is the quantum mechanics of the unified field of consciousness. So that means you got to unify The three. What are the three? Be, do, have. So division is what we got now. So they teach you, okay, you got to be, then you got to do, then you got to have. No, you should do all three simultaneously. You got to be, do, and have all at the same time. What does that mean? Well, that means that now you are in a state where you are one with God. That means all of your desires are fulfilled. So now in that state of being, I don't have to give love. I am love. I am joy. I am peace. I am just. So now when Moses asked God, what's your name? He says, I am. That I am. So everybody should be the same because that's what you are. So you are the great I am. So you give I am. So what does that mean? That means you give everybody a blank check. That's what God gave you. So that's love. Wow. So what does that mean? That means that it's unconditional. Now, I haven't seen it on the planet. What does that mean? That means, like I tell you guys at the end of every show, I love you, then shit you about it. What does that mean? It's unconditional. So you could text me, you call me, you say, Doc, you know, you ain't shit, brother. If I see you in the street, it's going to be me and you. I'm going to text you back. Well, first of all, I ain't going to text you back. I'm just going to read it and say, well, the person is having a magnanimous day. That's it. Why? I don't have to put no energy into it. Why do I do that? Because I teach whatever you react, you enact. So why would I want to add fire, fuel to the flame? I just let it die out. Sometimes it don't die out. Sometimes it heats up. Well, you let it heat out. And it's going to burn itself out. Or guess what? The fire's going to jump on you. Then you got to put it out, and then you got to address it. So it depends on how high and how hot the fire gets. But your job is to understand the quantum mechanics of the unified field of consciousness, which is you are the great I am. So now from that state of being, the neuroscience and the metaphysics behind being in that state allows you to be the gift. So you give yourself. You don't have to give anything else because you are love. So the fruit of the Spirit, you exude it with your energy. So when you show up, your presence, everybody's overwhelmed. You got to buy them nothing. Your presence is the gift. So don't give nothing. Just be. Because now you are the solution to everybody's problem because you are being the solution. Because what is money? Well, money gives people a peace of mind because it's a medium of exchange. So I can take that and I can do something with it. So when you show up, if you are big money, I can take you and I can do something with it. So I can take you if you are big money, and if money is really what I need, and you are big money, then that means that you will exude how I can be money. So I don't have to give you money. I'm going to exude the step-by-step. I'm going to model what money looks like, and then you can say, well, shit, I can set up a website. I can write an ebook. I can do an online, this, that, and the other. Then you start to be the vibration equivalent of me. Because I'm being the vibration equivalent of source. So we all are returning back to being one. This is the unified field of physics that we're going to be breaking down on August the 15th. That cost is $249 to unify the field of physics. If you can under, and understand that, brothers and sisters, it is lights out. Because now the whole world changes. Because now you are the solution to every problem on earth. Think about that. Every problem that exists, you are its solution. So when something comes up, you don't have to know specifics. So when I wake up, like I tell everybody, I could care less about specific individual problems. Why? Because I'm the solution. Because I am an individual expression of God on earth. But so are you. So what's the problem, Doc? There is no problem. If you understand that you are the solution, then you don't need to know the specific problem. Because whatever the problem is, I am. So I don't have to give specifics. Brothers and sisters, when you get to this level, there is no devil. That is why we're doing the physics of the unified field. The physics of the unified field blows all the other topics away. We've done a lot of shows, but this show on August the 15th and all of these shows that I'm doing leading up to August the 15th are extremely, extremely important. They are the most important topics on the planet, bar none. Because this topic explains how you stay in your lane. So my brothers and my sisters, it's extremely important that you understand what I've just revealed, explained, illuminated, and simplified to you. You are an individual expression of God on earth. You don't have to give, you just have to be. Once you are able to connect with the proper being state, it's life out. Because all the divisions, which we call problems and obstacles, they are, when you solve one problem, you got another one, another one. So let's just solve every problem on earth one time. So how do we solve every problem on earth? Well, all knowing, all power, all simple, all benevolent, and I miss one, all present. What does that mean? That simply means that you are a source. Once you understand that, it's lights out. Because now you stop bickering and arguing over individual problems. And all of these individual problems that you have, they go away. Because the enemy, if you want to use that term, which is nothing but your lower consciousness, because you've chosen to consent, that means you stop giving consent. What you do, you take back your energy. That's all I did. All I did was I took back my energy from all lower level consent. So I don't consent to problems. I don't consent to, so everybody else consent. How do you consent? By your reaction. So if something happens, you react to it. Now remember, silence on this level means consent. So you are not silent. It's just you're not giving your energy to the problem. You are giving your energy to the solution, which is I am an individual expression to God on earth. So I'm not going to give you money. I'm going to exude all of the attributes and characteristics of money. So whatever is the solution that you're thinking about giving tomorrow, you should exude that mentally. So if you want to give somebody something, if you want to give yourself something, instead of giving them a person, place, or thing, give them an action word. Give them a verb. Go into your life optimization circle, take out that verb, and give it to them. And watch their lives change. Brothers, I love you. I appreciate you. Y'all already know I'm at the top grinding and shining. I love you. There ain't nothing you can do about it. We're going to see y'all manana. God bless.